Hey, welcome back to High School Game Day here on the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Brought to you by Great Southern Bank. Doak Propane, Labor's Local 663, and the Missouri State Highway Patrol, who reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow. Well, it's both a privilege and an honor to welcome to High School Game Day Vashon Wolverines head football coach, Will Franklin. Coach Franklin, hey, thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Coach, you're off to a tremendous start. You're 4-0. You've only allowed 25 points on the season in 4 games while scoring 162 points. You're an offensive guy. You know, talk about that resurgence of that defense and just talk about how well they're playing.
Well, in all sports, especially football, defense is really wins the game. Offense sells the tickets, but defense is what really wins you the big games, wins you the games that matter. And for me, growing up and watching the Rams win on a defensive play in the Super Bowl, it always sticks in my head. And here we are. That's the identity of our team, is how well we can play defensively and rally to the ball, tackle, and make sure we keep our keys in our eyes in the right places. So defensively, that's being able to score on defense, tackle well, limited possessions. That's kind of what I want our identity to be as I was building this program.
Coach, a little bit, I looked at your roster and the numbers are just tremendous. You come in just a couple of years ago, you come from Mizzou. Talk about that transition and what led to that decision, and how did this come about?
Friend of mine, the best friend, Tony Ernst, the head basketball coach here at Vashon High School, seen a vision. We didn't have this vision since probably 2011, but never quite thought we would get it worked out. And he seen the vision. He got the vision into the principal of the school, which is a Vashon alum, also a Mizzou alum. They both put their heads together and decided to make a call to me down in Columbia. And here we are today. When I took the job back in December of 2018, it was 6 kids here left, no true identity of the football program right then and there. It's always been a history of it. Myself and the late, great Jerry Brown, who played for the Dallas Cowboys, we were teammates. We were in high school, and 2 of 4 guys that were actually teammates that made it to the National Football League. So for me, it's been a small history of football here that I feel that I want to be able to help bring out and show, that we had numerous guys go to college, no matter what level of college it was. We had guys go to Ohio State, myself, Mizzou, Memphis, different levels of football, high level football. But developing this program has been something that, since I took the job, it's like, okay, like, how do you do it? And I've leaned on, like I said, Tony Ernst. I've reached out to Coach Sunkett, just finding out ways to, how did he do it at Riverview? And that transition that he has now at East St. Louis, to where, I wouldn't say it's running itself, because he still is hands-on, man. Coach Sunkett is a great one. Just using the resources that I have and making it my own. I made it my own, and my identity, what I stand for, what I want for my student athletes, and how we're going to carry ourselves in the community. Those were some of the things that in the first year, I ran some guys off that came off, man, because you got to do it right in this world. And if you do it right, good things happen for you. And that's been my message since day one. And now I'm looking at, went from 6 kids to almost 50 kids out here on the roster. It's showing that it is working. The groundwork is being laid. I wouldn't say that I have a house built, but I definitely have some pavement laid now. I can start putting building blocks on it.
Visiting with again Vashon head football coach Will Franklin, alum of Vashon, a Mizzou alum, an NFL wide receiver. He's gone back home to kind of give back to the community. Coach, what do you feel like you're really doing well as a football program? You're 4-0 on the season, and maybe where are some areas where you feel like you need to work on?
There's always areas you can work on, man, whether it's offense, special teams, defense. But my area that I consistently want to work on is just how we carry ourselves in the building. How do we approach being on time in places? Those are things that are going to translate to life when you're done with sports. my identity is more about who we are as a person than we are as a football player. And I think that's what has made my team grow, the investment that we have with just the off the field, man. I know what you want to do. You want to play football. We all want to play football, but you understand timing, respect, how you carry yourself, and more importantly, you know what I mean, the work you put into yourself, which is your schoolwork, will help translate to into what you want at the end, which is a scholarship. You know what I mean? So that's been my identity and my push since I got here. It's always been great athletes come through Vashon, whether it's basketball or football. I just want to make sure that we can show that we can send guys from football just as what we sending guys to, you know what I mean, the highest level of basketball.
You know, who have you kind of molded your coaching style after? Was it a college coach? Was it a high school coach? Who do you lean on, and where do you go back to maybe get some direction or some suggestions or just some help?
Man, I lean on literally everyone in some way, some capacity, man. Whether it was my high school coach, you know what I mean, Coach Ferd, or Coach Irons, or Coach Pinkle, Barry Odom, AJ Afale, Herm Edwards, you know what I mean, many different guys, man. One thing I've learned over the years is the more you can educate yourself and help yourself, the better you can prepare these young men for life. And those are guys, just a small fraction of guys. Coach Sunkett, he's been a very big help for me since I've been back home. Just making sure that, you know what I'm saying, you can lean on some right guys that done things the right way to help you build a program, which is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to build a program. You know, everyone say, oh, you got a program down. It's not a program yet, man. It's going in that direction. And I pray that I can continue to stay here to do that for these young men in this community. But those are guys that I lean on daily, especially Coach Ernst. You know what I'm saying? Tony Ernst, man. Like that's again my best friend. So I lean on him a lot just with his philosophy and how he's been successful over the years. You know, it's not the same sport, but coaching is coaching, teaching is teaching, and developing is developing. You know, so you can take many different things and from each sport and combine it to your own.
Coach, as you head in here to week 5, you're 4-0 right now. You actually don't play tonight. You play a Saturday game. You've got Roosevelt coming up. What are you going to have to do there to come out on top?
Oh, for me, just do what we do best. Just stay disciplined. You know, football is a disciplined sport. If we can stay disciplined and understand our assignments and just stay locked in on our assignment, we should be fine.
And Coach, I know you've got a birthday coming up. You're going to turn, 36, I believe, here.
Yeah, man. I'm getting old out here. I got to look great.
Yeah. Hey, I'm way ahead of you. If you could, if the 2021 Will Franklin could go back and talk to that 2002, 2003 Will Franklin, what advice would you give yourself?
Be willing to learn more. I think when you're young, especially you're 15, 16 years old, we be so eager to want to be adults fast that we don't take in some of the advice that others give us. And it can be the right advice, but I think with lack of maturity at young age, we can't understand what that really means at a young age. So for me, it would be just be willing to learn more and take in the advice that you may get from anyone. That's one thing I can say that over the years I've learned is no matter what they look like, what position they're in, you can learn something from everyone. And I that's been a part of my growth over the last, I'll say 5-6 years. It's continue to learn no matter what walk of life they're in. If it's someone not doing well in someone else's eyes, you can learn from them. So for me, that's some of the things that I'm trying to teach the young man that I'm responsible for now is be willing to learn, stay coachable, stay in the moment, because life goes fast and high school goes faster than what you know. You know, I remind the seniors daily, like when I took the job, like, hey, remember when we were getting our head beat and we were 1-9 year one, and now here we are in the work that we had to put in over the last 3 years, you know, who you are, but you took everything that I'm teaching you and those that I bring around to speak to you guys, you're taking in, and here we are building a program together.
Coach, and it's you look at when you look at your team, do you see a Will Franklin on your team? Do you see a guy that could be maybe one day called Mr. Mizzou? Is there a guy that reminds you of you that you're coaching? And it may be as frustrating as that, because when I've coached kids that they reminded me of me, they would frustrate the heck out of me because I thought, man, I did that too. Don't do that.
Yeah, man. I see a few of them, man. I got a very talented roster, man. I see a few of those guys, and it's great when a young man compliments you in a way and say, man, I'm glad you're my coach. Because I don't take these things for granted. So every day I'm pushing you to your limits. I'm trying to give you everything that I wish I had at your age, so that you can be even more successful than me. And that's the ultimate goal for me is, man, be more successful than me. If I'm the bar for you, like, I need you higher than me. And I'm going to continue to put people around that can help elevate you even farther as well. Because it takes a village to get, everyone where they need to be.
Class 4-0 right now. You've got Union in your district, who's also 4-0 at this time. At the end of the season, what are one or two things that you're going to look at that's going to determine whether or not it was a success? I'm not talking about a state championship. I'm not talking about anything like that. But in your mind, what are your goals that, hey, if this happens, if we get these kids, if they all stay focused and they're here and their grades are good, what are some things that you're going to point at and say this was a success no matter how it finishes?
Just the consistency. This football is all about how consistent can you be at things. And if we can look back at 10 weeks and see that, hey, we were consistent on doing the small things that coach asks every day, and this is the reward we get, I'll be very satisfied with that.
Outstanding. Well, Coach Franklin, I certainly appreciate you being generous with the time, and I hope we get to do this again, because this was a real and honor for me after being at Faroe and watching some of those games that you've had and watching on television, and then you go to the Chiefs, for that season. Yes. This was a thrill for me, and I really appreciate you being generous with your time.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man. I'm honored to be on. Thank you.
All right. Hey, you're listening to the Missouri Sports Network here on High School Game Day, and we'll be back after this.